Hey, welcome to Animals Attack. I'm your host, Leslie Garcia. So today's story is about a love affair between humans and black bears. So you may notice that the news is full of stories of people trying to develop friendships or guardianships to black bears. All the people in this story share that love of bears and a sense of responsibility to protect them. Some people are fined, some are even jailed, like the woman in Whistler, BC, who was fined $60,000, or the woman in Washington State, Doris Parks, who was actually arrested. But this story isn't about them. It's about the two ladies who paid the ultimate price with their lives. The first is Donna Munson, 74, of Denver, Colorado. In the evenings, Donna Munson liked to sit in front of her picture window and watch the bears amble towards her Ouray County log cabin for their dinner. The 74-year-old Donna Munson continued caring for animals after her husband's death, leaving a tub of cat food on their picnic table for critters and tossing food in the backyard and out her windows for the bears. The elderly woman, who used a walker, bought giant bags of old Roy dog food for the bears and even had pellets of grain delivered for elk and deer. People all agreed that she was a very sweet lady, but should not have been left alone out there. To placate family and neighbors, she put a fence around her porch to be able to keep a safe distance between the bears and herself. Neighbors would complain about the growing number of bears in the hills, ransacking trash cans and even trying to break into their houses in the summer. Still, Munson kept feeding the bears. On the Thursday, the night before her death, Munson made reference to one of those babies as she spoke on the phone with a relative. "Oh, the little bear is here. I need to go take care of the little bear," Munson told the family member. Munson had planned to feed the injured baby bear hard-boiled eggs and yogurt, and she had planned to swat a large bear that was bothering the baby bear with a broom. The next day, a man arrived at her home to ask about a painting job and spotted her body. Munson, apparently, was standing inside of her porch when a bear swiped at her face through the fence. An autopsy indicated that she was unconscious when the bear pulled her beneath the fence and into the yard. Her walker was found inside the fence. Investigators said it was one of the most gruesome scenes he had ever dealt with. Investigators were interviewing witnesses at the scene when a 250-pound bear approached, ignoring deputies as it tried to reach Munson's remains. It had no fear, investigators said as they ushered witnesses into his car, retrieved a shotgun, and shot the animal. A 400-pound bear was shot the next morning as it nosed around the scene. An autopsy revealed human flesh and Munson's shirt in its stomach. In the nearby community of Ouray, some are upset with Munson for endangering them. "Feeding the bears is a foolish thing to do," people said. "They're wild animals. They're not pets." Two of the Bruins were shot and killed by Ouray County Sheriff's deputy Friday while they investigated Munson's death. Deputies said the animals were threatening and had no fear of people. Two other bears were captured and euthanized in July after a caretaker at Munson's cabin complained that they were too aggressive. Divisions of wildlife authorities caught them both the first day they set traps. Folks in Ouray and Ridgeway, two towns near Munson's house, were upset about the bear's death and the public safety risk caused by Munson. These bears are now not going to be fed, and they are going to go to other people's houses looking for food, said a neighbor. More bears are going to be killed because of what that woman did. It's a bad situation, and people are not happy about it. This opinion seems to be shared with the residents in the small town of Columbia, North Carolina, where Kay Grayson, 73, lived side by side with wild black bears in North Carolina's swampy coastal forests, hand-feeding them, defending them against poachers, and letting them into her house. For 28 years, she lived in trailers off a rutted dirt road near the Alligator River Marina in Columbia, a tiny town of around 900. She had no running water or electricity and used a 5-gallon bucket for a toilet, even in her 60s. The only signs of humanity for miles in any direction were power lines and the occasional rough path. It's a place for wild things, the county sheriff said. Kay met her first bear one night soon after she arrived. She came home and there he was, sitting on her mattress, eating a sweet roll. She shrieked and ran, and the bear did the same, limping as he went. When she went back inside, she found his muddy paw print on her mirror. Soon, the first bear became 2, and then 4, and then half a dozen. Kay convinced local store owners to give her day-old goods or retrieve them from the dumpsters, filling her truck until she could carry no more, feeding the bears bread, pies, and rolls in addition to peanuts and dog food. Kay and her bears lived in the middle of some 5,000 acres of swampy forest, thick with mud, peat moss, golden seal, and pine trees in Terrell County, in northeastern North Carolina. She called her land Bear Song, and locals called her the Bear Lady. Everyone, friends, the sheriff, wildlife officers, told her to stop. One of Kay's closest friends said, "I told her all the time, if something happened to her and they got hungry enough, they would eat her. And she'd say, 'Those bears aren't going to hurt me. They love me.'" Kay made it her personal mission to save the black bears from a group of bear poachers who believed they were above the law, and in many cases they were. Fines and tickets did not persuade them. Kay allowed the bears to run free on her 5,000 square acre property. She chained gates, and the chains would just be cut to allow the hunters access to the swampy property. On January 27th, Kay's friends reported her missing. 2 Terrell County deputies walked into the Bear Song woods with an emergency management coordinator and a canine handler, who brought a dog to catch Kay's scent. They hiked half a mile down the muddy, waterlogged road before they found a maroon coat, a black turtleneck, and, in the middle of a path, a plastic grocery bag containing unopened batteries, socks, cigarettes, and Tylenol. Further back in the trees across the ditch, nearly overflowing from recent downpours, they saw more clothing. They made a bridge out of fallen trees and climbed across. They also found a pair of black ski pants and a slipper and a gray tank top. Over the next hour, they found a small piece of flesh with some long white hairs attached and multiple bones, all of them picked clean. Regardless of the findings, many people believe that Kay died of natural causes, and perhaps the bears dragged her into the woods to dispose of her body, as there was no trauma found to the bones. There was also several bags of dog food in her trailer that the bears could have gotten to if they needed it. Some believe it to be a mystery. The point is, I see nothing good can come from feeding the bears, for them or for us. Anyways, guys, I think we're going to end this video here. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something, like do not feed the bears. Okay, guys, you have a great day, and hopefully we'll see you back here in a couple of days. All right, bye for now.